What's good, everybody? It's your brother Man Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. Just a quick warning, if you hear some birds, that's because my windows are open here in my office. I wanted some fresh air while I'm recording this video. You also might even hear a rooster crowing in the background. Yes, there are chickens out here in the country, so just be prepared in case you hear any weird sounds like that. So anyway, I want to talk about a very specific show and one of the TV shows that's actually a favorite of mine. Like I love this show ever since I first saw it and it first aired, and that is To Catch a Predator. Okay, so my memories of it when it first aired was I hadn't watched it at first, but I was working in corporate America at the time, working in advertising and marketing, and one of the guys on the marketing team was telling me, he's like, "Hey, have you checked out that show that comes on? It's like where they catch these pedophiles or whatever." And I was like, "No, I never even heard of that show." I was like, "I'll have to check that out though." He's like, "Yeah, there's some sick guys on there." I was like, "I'm sure. If they're catching pedophiles or guys trying to sleep with young teens or whatever on TV, I'm sure there's some sick people on there." And I decided to go check it out. First, I checked it out on the old days of YouTube where you could just kind of post anything that you wanted on YouTube without having to, look over your shoulder for YouTube guidelines or spies or whoever. And I watched a couple of episodes of the show and I was hooked. I was hooked. I think the first one I saw was they were doing one in Ohio, and I had to watch. I watched it live when they showed the episodes that they did in New Jersey. As someone who grew up on the Jersey Shore, I had to watch that. I was actually waiting to see someone I knew, but luckily, no one I knew or had any contact with showed up on that show. But um, To Catch a Predator is just an amazing thing. Okay, and one of the reasons I appreciated the show, and also the same reason that I feel the show got taken off the air, was because it showcased a lot, and I mean a lot, of white males getting caught doing something extremely criminal. Because most media outlets, they spend most of their time demonizing black people, whether it be black males, black females, black children, whoever, just the black community in general. They're always telling us how we're wrong. There's something wrong with us. Why can't we get together? We're evil. We're always committing crimes. We murder each other. There's always something wrong with the black community. We don't vote right. We don't do this right. We don't have jobs. We're on welfare. Everything bad about the black community, right? But when it came to a show that was just outwardly just catching criminals in different areas of the country, by the way, that I think the first episode was in New York. The second episode, they did two different locations in California. They were in Ohio. They were in Georgia. They were in Florida. They were in New Jersey. Just different areas around the country. Texas. Just doing different areas. It seemed like a majority of the people being caught were white guys. Now, I'm not saying there weren't any black guys there, but they're few and far between. They were definitely the minority there. The vast majority were white males, followed up by males from different parts of Asia, whether it be India, the Middle East, or Japan or Korea or whatever. So that filled in the second demographic. All the quote unquote model minorities. Those guys came in second, and blacks were way down on the list. There weren't that many black guys being caught up in these sting operations, and this was being shown weekly on TV. That's what I liked about it. Okay, you got to see a completely different criminal element out there that is not normally shown on TV or any media outlet at all. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think that is the reason why it eventually got taken off. It got to the point where, because they were catching guys in different demographics as well. These aren't all white guys who live in the slums, by the way. All different economic brackets. So they were catching doctors, engineers. I remember one episode they caught a guy who worked for Nickelodeon. They were catching people in different religious backgrounds, priests, rabbis, and the one that topped it all off, the one that really got the show shut down, they called a assistant district attorney. This guy, he didn't even want to be caught. He wound up killing himself before he could be caught. Okay, he wound up taking his life, and his family wound up suing Dateline for doing that. They made it seem like Dateline did something to him, because they caught him up in this sting operation. Now, had he not been trying to solicit little boys for sex online, he would not have been in any type of trouble. But he did that. He made a choice to do that. And then when he got caught, instead of facing the consequences for his crimes, he went ahead and took his own life, you see. So he took the coward's way out. But his family blamed Dateline NBC. They sued them. And eventually the show got taken off the air. Now, Chris Hanson still does these types of reports because that's basically what he's known for. He's the main reporter for it, and he's basically become known for it. So he still does it, and you can watch it on YouTube. I've actually been watching some of the newer episodes, and I posted one on my Facebook of this old man trying to hook up with a 13-year-old. But he's still Chris Hansen is still out there doing this stuff, and in my opinion, is not done enough. And to be totally honest, the people that they catch on To Catch a Predator and a show like that, they're not even the worst of the types of predators that are out there preying on children. Okay, most of these guys, they are talking to young girls online or young boys online and coming to meet them. There are whole child pedophile rings out there that really need work. And then, you find those on like the dark web and stuff like that. There's a lot of disturbing stories out there. I actually was going to do a video where I reacted to a documentary that I saw from the UK of, a child sex ring. And I can't do it, folks. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that because there's some really dark things on there and some really disturbing things. Like I couldn't even get through the first 20 minutes of it. Okay, I had to turn it off because it was just taking me down some dark roads I didn't even want to think about. When anyone's hurting small children like that, I just can't handle it. It's really disturbing for me. So, there's some worse stuff out there than To Catch a Predator, but I'm glad there's someone catching these guys as well, because that's almost, you can almost consider that like the gateway into the darker stuff. And a lot of these guys are getting caught and taken off the street before they can get to take it to the next level, like some of these really sickos that you find on the dark web and some of these, crime rings and stuff like that, and child trafficking and sex trafficking and whatnot. But yeah, so like I said, To Catch a Predator, one of my favorite shows of all time. I believe it was taken down because it was showcasing white males in a very criminal act, and the America as a whole just can't handle that. I've told you before in other videos that America, especially white America, bases its entire identity on we whites up here high up on a pedestal, blacks down there low on the ground, underground, wherever. Okay. It bases its entire identity on blacks being subjugated. So if you showcase a bunch of white males in different demographics, white males who are white collar, blue collar, whatever, and they're getting caught in crime stings and going to the point where you're actually handcuffing them or tasing them, making them cry, showing them in jumpsuits in court every week. You can't have that on TV. Okay, that's just not going to work on a national network TV show. You're showing that every week. These white males looking bad like that. They couldn't allow that to stay on TV. And when you get to the point where you're catching people in high places like district attorneys and rabbis and whatever, you're really talking about some nonsense now. Now you're really you're breaking the surface of, catching some real demons out here. Demons who have power and abuse their power to abuse children. So they couldn't have that on TV. Okay? And not because they care about, protecting the innocent or protecting children out there. They just don't want to make white people look bad, especially white males. White males are supposed to be the epitome of virtue and honor and whatever. And whatever they do, even if it's something that's bad, they must have had a good reason for doing it. So they don't want to showcase the negative stuff on TV every week. So that's why that show got taken off. So I'm letting you know, I'm going to do a reaction to a video that I found from To Catch a Predator. It's a lot of the classic videos, a lot of the best arrest. And I remember a lot of these episodes, so I'm going to do a reaction to that on my Patreon, and you folks can watch it there. It's $5 a month. You can download and watch all of the classic videos and new exclusive videos that I do on the Patreon. But I'm going to do it there because I don't think I could get away with doing it here on YouTube. But you can definitely watch it there. So anyway, you folks let me know how you feel about it. What was your favorite episode or your favorite arrest on To Catch a Predator? And did you watch that show when it was popular, or did you watch it on YouTube back in the day? And you can let me know your stories about watching that show. Like I said, I love that show. I think it was the great all-American show. And the sad thing is they took it away because it showed too much honesty about how America really is. Anyway, Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on a devil's back.